Let's talk about the three things that they can do right now to live that healthy lifestyle that we've been talking about. And I think it's a perfect thing. What you talked about was you want to plan and start small, doing baby steps.
Correct. Yeah. Start small. As anything, if you're not the type, you know yourself. If you know you cannot go all in 100% right away and make these changes, uh, then you start small. Find ways to eliminate certain things, right? For example, make a commitment. Say, hey, I'm going to cut back the amount of cheese I eat,
Yeah.
right? Or I'm going to cut back the amount of desserts I eat, or I'm going to cut back eating out so many times out the week, right? So instead of eating out 4 or 5 times out the week, cut it down to uh, 3 times a week. And just make those simple little steps, right? Because it's progress over perfection. You're not perfect. So I say start small.
Yeah. So number one, plan and start small and just start doing baby steps. I think number two is as you start to do that, is you want to be conscious of the fact that you want to create habits,
Correct.
right? When you create the habits around the nutrition,
Correct.
you kind of break the top.
Exercise.
Yeah, exercise,
Yeah.
drinking water,
Yeah. Those
right?
simple things. Yeah. Yeah.
But you even mentioned like detox, right?
Yeah.
Like or getting good sound sleep. You mentioned, right?
Correct.
Yeah. In order to create habits, you got to do the action. So you already made the commitment. You already decided. Now you got to actually do the things and do it by starting one plan, start small, baby steps, and then create the habits by doing action.
Correct.
What as you do that, how should you? What other things do you think? What's the last number three thing do you think we should do?
Um,
Now, because I think about it, I would say, tell me if you agree with this, is you don't want to think short term.
right.
You want to think more long
Long term
term, right?
plan ahead.
Because we talk about planning on 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, hundreds to live. So you want to think in decades,
Right.
right? Get the results 10 years from now. What will the 10-year version of yourself say to you today,
Right.
right? Knowing where they're going to be or where you're going to be. Because you can go on a diet for 2 months, but that's 2 months and it's going to go right back to not doing anything.
Right. Because if you didn't make that a lifestyle or make it a good healthy habit, you're gonna go back to eating out and eating whatever, right? Eating indulgently, right? Versus if you make it a lifestyle and you say, no, I'm not gonna eat that. It's just on my birthday, I'm gonna eat that, right? On New Year's Eve, and that's it. So I think if you make it a create these healthy habits and make it a lifestyle,
Yeah.
nutrition, exercise, whatever, and you plan out, it's not something that's going to happen right away. It's going to take you maybe 6 months to get there, 10 years to get 10 years.
No,
God, no.
yeah.
Well, it might take some people that long
Think
to make
that
that
way.
changes because that's
Yeah.
how I was. I mean, I was eating clean, and then once we had children and a family and trying to please everybody's palates, it's like I started eating more processed foods. But then I had to unlearn those things, and
Yep.
it's like it's been this journey I've been on, and always tell
That's
you
it, the journey.
every year I try to improve every year. It's,
That's it.
we try
That's
to
it.
improve something every year because we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So instead of what was it? Last year I said, I'm not going to buy as much store bought almond milk, right? Something simple like that. It's like I make my own, right? Something simple as that. Or you could say, hey, I'm not going to go eat at all these fast food restaurants.
Yeah. And that's where you got to have the openness to be able to learn as you go through this journey,
Right.
right? It's not just an end point there.
Right.
So it's perfect. So the number one thing you can do is plan and start small,
Right.
baby steps. Number two, you want to create the habits with action around the nutrition, detox, exercise, just that style. And as you build your lifestyle up, you want to think in decades and not months to really get the snowball effects.